back at DotCom Secrets Part 2, and let's learn some secrets of the internet. So, there are a ton of people teaching internet marketing, and the vast majority of them make money by teaching other people the internet marketing strategy by they learn about online. Then Kennedy calls those people sole sellers because during the gold rush, the people who made the most money were the ones selling the servers. Today's sole sellers are selling you internet marketing strategy without actually using any of the strategies themselves. The difference between me and most of my competitors is that I actually do this for real. That's right, I use every one of the secrets I'm about to reveal to you. I've read this, heard this a lot. This thing, like, I actually do this, huh? Everyone tells that I actually do this, bro. And I've tried. I've tried them in dozens of different markets, from supplements to coaching to software. It also works. Directly with hundreds of other businesses that broaden them and increasing their profitability in almost every niche and every industry you can dream of. About 7 or 8 years ago, I had a good fortune to work with direct marketing business Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer. Who are those? I don't know. They work for entrepreneurs all around the world, and I was the main internet marketing trainer for almost 6 years. This was a very unique situation, and I was able to work with hundreds of our farm businesses, teaching them to implement the same concepts he's about to share with us. He has also had a chance to teach the DotCom Secrets at Tony Robbins' Business Master Seminar as well. He can tell us from experience that these strategies work for both online and offline businesses in just about any industry we can think of. Throughout the book, it will show you share examples of these different types of businesses so you can see how each strategy works in any market. This book is divided into several sections, and we must understand these before we can create our first own marketing funnel. So we understand the secrets behind what makes online selling work. It will teach us how to build our own sales funnels. It's simple to describe many different these are different sections. Image recall. For the book we're going to notice tons of simple little diagrams at first. They won't make sense to you, but after we read through the chapters or section, we'll get it. The reason the pictures are so basic is because it wants us to be able to look at the image and immediately recall the concepts. The graphics are engineered for instant recall. At some point in the future, if we need to remember how to structure an upsell sales letter or a two-step consulting funnel, you will be able to pull out the picture and instantly recall how to do it. When you need to recall image, when you need that image recall, you can flip through the book to find the pictures if you like, or you can go to this diagrams right and print them out. Okay, I recommend reading the entire book once from the beginning to the very end. Okay, let's see. Section 1, Ladders and Funnels, the secret formula. Who were bait results? Where bait results. So who means the customers, consumers? Where are the consumers? And what type of bait can we give? And how can we get the results? What's the results? Why is this guy in the mountain now? That's our result. Figure 1. The secret formula. It was 11:27 a.m. on a Monday morning, and no matter what he told himself, he just couldn't get out of bed. The muscles in his body ached, although it didn't make sense. He knew he wasn't sure from such exercise because he hadn't worked out. He had a sick feeling in his stomach that felt like the flu, but he knew he wasn't sick. In his head, he was wishing that he had a boss so he could fire him and end this nightmare that he knew he had to face as soon as he finally stumbled out of bed. How had he gotten here? Just a few years earlier, he had officially become an entrepreneur and launched his own company. And despite a lot of mistakes along the way, he had learned a few tricks and was having success. The company he started was profitable. They were selling serving people and making a difference, but for some reason he was miserable. A few weeks later, he found himself in front of a huge, blank, white road, trying to sketch out why he was feeling this way. that way. Something was wrong with his business and he wanted to figure out what it was. After what seemed like hours, he wrote down two words: who, where, who, and where, who, and where. He asked himself, who is the person he really wants to work with? Who is the person we really want to work with? Who do we want to work with? Up to that point in his business, he had been trying to sell to anyone and everyone he could. Well, that sounds smart of us. It left me tired, frustrated. It left him tired, frustrated, and empty inside. After he got a good idea of who he could would either work with if he had that choice, he started thinking about the result he would want to get done. He asked himself, where could I serve my customer at the highest level? He realized it wasn't through a product or a service. Rather, it was by giving them a result that would change their lives. That result is where he wanted to take them. A few minutes later, he added two more words to the board: where and bait. Where? Bait. Where are those people? How can I find them online? And what type of bait can I create to attract his dream client and repel everyone else? These questions eventually became the outline for what he now calls the secret formula, and it's really a step that we have to take before we can grow any company. The secret formula consists of four simple questions. These are the same four questions that he asks anyone who hires him for personal consultations. At the time of writing, companies pay me $25,000 per day to help them understand and implement this formula and the forms and scripts inside of this book. Now, while he knows that we didn't pay anywhere near 25,000 to learn this information and go through this process, he recommends us to treat this and all of the exercise inside of this book as if we did invest the full amount. If we do, we will get a lot more out of the process. It's going to take you through, and this book will become like a private $25,000 consultation with me. Let me walk you through the process. Let him walk us through the process. Question 1: who is your dream client? The first question we have to ask ourselves is, who do we actually want to work with? Who do you want to work with? Most of us start with a product idea, never thinking about who we want as clients, customers, vendors, and associates. But these are the people we will be interacting with day in and day out. We'll probably spend more time with these people than our own friends and family. We choose our significant other carefully, so why wouldn't we take the same time and care in deciding who our dream client or customer will be? If we're just getting started, this may not seem important, but it promises us that if we don't consciously choose our dream client, one day we'll wake up like he did, working with people who exhaust us and wishing that someone could fire us from the business we created. After we had successfully launched his first software company, a lot of people took notice of his success online and started asking how he was making money because he saw the demand. He thought it would be fun to teach others how to start their own businesses online. The good thing was there were a lot of people who wanted to start businesses and they made a lot of money teaching them. But the downside was most of them didn't have any money and couldn't invest in the higher ticket things he wanted to sell. And Moose had no business experience, so he had to spend tons of time on the fundamentals, and that drove him crazy, which is why he didn't want to get out of bed in the mornings. He had so much value he wanted to provide people, showing how he had scaled his company teaching conversion secrets and how they structured their funnels, but 99% of his time was spent showing them how to buy a domain and set up hosting. He literally spent years serving his customers, and it made him miserable. His family suffered, and no matter how much money they made, he wasn't happy. It took years before he sat back and actually thought about the who. He realized He has overlooked some pretty important questions. Who are his dream clients? What do they look like? What are they passionate about? What are their goals, dreams, and desires? After about a week of thinking about the who question, he sat down and created two customer avatars. One for the man he wanted to work with, and one for the woman he wanted to work with. For the woman, he picked a name and wrote it down, Julie. Now I listed out the things he knew about Julie. She's successful and driven. She has a message to share. She values her personal growth over money, and she's already grown her business to at least five figures a year. Next, he wrote down the name Mike. Next to Mike's name, he wrote out the things he knew about Mike. He's a former athlete. At some point, he has helped change someone's life in a small way and wants to learn how to help more people. He values growth over money, and he's already built his business to at least five figures a year. Then he went to Google Images and typed in Julie and the characteristics he had written out. Within minutes, he found a picture that looked like the woman in his mind. He printed it out and hung it on his wall. He did the same for Mark, and within minutes, he had both pictures of his dream client hanging on his wall. This may seem like a really silly exercise, but it's important that we do it anyway. Really, so spend some time thinking about who we want to work with, write out their characteristics, and then go find an actual picture to represent them. It's amazing how our perspective changes when we have a physical picture of our ideal customer instead of a hazy, half-formed image in our head. Question 2. Where can you find them? The next question in the secret formula is where we can find this ideal man or woman. Where do they hang out online? Are they on Facebook or Instagram? What groups are they part of? What email newsletters do they subscribe to? What blogs do they read? Are they reading the New York Times or the Huffington Post? What other interests do they have? Do they like sports or the arts? What about fishing? How about fishing or race cars? If we don't know the who, it will be hard to find out where our perfect client can be found. So we have to make sure we know exactly who we are trying to attract, and just right in a few places we think that a prospect might hang out online. For the next few chapters, we're going to take a deep dive into how and where to find our dream clients. It show us exactly where to find the people we are looking for. And question 3. What bait will we use to attract them? Once we know where the dream customers are, we have to create the right bait to attract them. A bait could be a physical book, a CD, DVD, or an audio recording, anything that our dream customer would pay attention to and want. As each company moved away from selling to beginners and toward attracting dream clients, their first step was to create new bait that would attract Mike or Julie. So they created a book called DotCom Secrets Labs 108 Proven Split Test Winners. The bait worked great for us because most beginners don't know what a split test is, but they knew that Julie and Mike, their dream customers, would know what these terms mean, and they would be hungry to get their hands on the book. Within days of launching this new offer, there are thousands of dream clients lining up to work with them. When they find out when we find out what our dream clients want, it becomes very easy to attract them to our book. They, they are going to talk more about creating the right bait. Right now, just realize that the bait has to match what our dream customer wants. And finally, question 4. What result do you want to give them? Once you have hooked your dream customers with the perfect bait, the last question is what results do you want to give them? It's not all about what product or service you want to sell them. A business is not about products and services. A business is about what result you can get for your clients, what result we can get for our clients. Once we and they understand the concept, then price is no longer a barrier. For me, for him, he knew that the best way he can serve his dream client is to send his team to the office and help build out their sales funnels, hire and train their sales team, and set up systems to drive consistent leads into the company. That is how he can have the deepest impact and serve the client at the highest level. Ideally, it's where he would like to take all of his customers. That our service is not cheap, but the results he can deliver at that level are amazing. The pattern and perspective for that service is company charges a retailer and a percentage of sales is combined equals $1 million. I understand. He understands that many of his customers won't be able to pay him for that level of service. This is why they don't love other products and services. But understanding where we ultimately want to take the dream client is the key to the setup. Imagine that our clients could pay us anything to get a desired result. What then? What do you do to help guarantee their success? Where you deliver them? Where would you lead them? What does that place look like? Keep that place in our mind. The pinnacle of success for your clients. That's where we want to take them, and that's the key to this last step. That's it. The four steps are as follows. Who are our dream clients? Who are your dream clients? How can you find them? What bait will you use to attract them? And what results do you want to give them? This exercise seems simple, but it's the key to everything else we'll be discussing in this book. So take a few minutes and really answer these for. Take a few minutes, boys. Thank you.